Ever tried setting out on a journey with no map, no GPS, and absolutely no clue where you're headed? Sounds exciting. Until you realize you're just wandering in circles. That's what designing a course without clear learning objectives feels like. But don't worry, I'm here to make sure you never get lost again. Why learning objectives matter. Let's be real. No one enjoys the feeling of wading through a course without a clear direction. Learning objectives fix that. They keep both the instructor and the learner focused on the finish line. Think of learning objectives as the GPS of your course. They help ensure that content is structured and purposeful. Assessments align with what students actually need to learn. Learners know exactly what's expected of them. Basically, they take the guesswork out of learning. And who doesn't love a well-planned journey? The power of learning objectives in course design. Here's a pro tip. Start with your learning objectives, and everything else will fall into place. Imagine trying to pack for a trip without knowing where you're going. Winter gear? Beachwear? Who knows? That's what happens when you design a course without clear objectives. You end up with content overload, misaligned assessments, and learners who have no clue where they're headed. Set your objectives first, and your course will be focused, effective, and free from unnecessary detours. The ABCD model, your secret weapon. Writing learning objectives can feel like a balancing act, too vague and they're useless, too rigid and you stifle creativity. Enter the ABCD model, a structured, no-nonsense approach to crafting learning objectives that actually work. Audience, who's learning? Behavior, what will they be able to do? Use strong action verbs like analyze or create. Condition, under what conditions? Example, using provided case studies. Degree, how well should they perform? With 90% accuracy. Example, by the end of this module, students A will be able to create well-structured learning objectives. B, using the ABCD model. C, with 90% accuracy. D, simple, clear, and effective. Bloom's Taxonomy, learning that sticks. Learning isn't just about memorizing stuff. It's about thinking critically, solving problems, and creating something new. That's where Bloom's Taxonomy comes in. It organizes learning objectives by cognitive complexity. Remembering, recall facts, for example, define list. Understanding, explain concepts, for example, describe, summarize. Applying, use knowledge in real situations, for example, demonstrate, solve. Analyzing, identify patterns, for example, compare, categorize. Evaluating, make judgments, for example, argue, critique. Creating, develop something new, for example, design, construct. Example, objective. Students will analyze different instructional design models, analyzing, and select the most appropriate one for a given context, evaluating. See how different levels build deeper learning? Aligning objectives with assessments and activities. We've all been there, learning about one thing but getting tested on something completely different. That's what happens when objectives don't align with assessments. A simple fix? Backward design. Start with the end in mind and work backward to structure assessments and activities that actually support the objectives. Example, objective students will be able to create a lesson plan, creating, assessment. Submit a detailed lesson plan for peer review. Activities, participate in brainstorming sessions and analyze case studies to develop lesson plan components. When objectives, assessments, and activities align, learning becomes meaningful and impactful. Common pitfalls and best practices. Writing clear objectives isn't as easy as it looks. Here's what to avoid. Vagueness. Understand or learn aren't measurable. Use specific verbs like analyze or design. Overgeneralization. Too broad, you won't be able to measure success. Non-measurable verbs. Appreciate isn't an action you can assess. Best practices. Use specific action verbs. Analyze, construct, evaluate. Keep objectives clear and concise. Align them with assessments and activities. Learning objectives equal course success. At the end of the day, learning objectives are the backbone of successful instructional design. Without them, courses become a confusing mess. By following models like ABCD and Bloom's Taxonomy, and ensuring alignment between objectives, assessments, and activities, you'll create a learning experience that's focused, effective, and transformative. Because let's be honest, training that hits the mark is the training that drives real results. So next time you design a course, start with the destination in mind. Your learners will thank you. Now it's your turn. What's the hardest part for you when it comes to writing learning objectives? Do you have a go-to strategy or model like ABCD or Bloom's that helps you stay on track? Let us know in the comments below. Your experience could really help others who are navigating the same journey. And hey, sharing is part of learning too. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Remember, we ensure your creativity and innovations are simplified.